You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Welcome, AfterBuzzers. You are watching Season 2, Episode 3, at Altered Carbon Nightmare Alley. I'm your host, Shaka Smith. Remember me from first season. I'm joined by my lovely co-host, Miss Kari Lane.
Hey, how's it going?
Our sci-fi savant in the house. And we got Mr. Nate Miller.
Yo, what's up?
The realest AfterBuzzer here we got at the network. And of course, we got to get right into Altered Carbon. We got so much to cover. We got some great topics for you guys. We got Trepp's Quest, we got AI Love, and of course, we have The Circle. We have a special segment called the Baddest of the Week where we pick off someone to face off with Kovacs who will win. But let's just get into our general overall thoughts. We'll start with you, Nate, our realest AfterBuzzer.
Why is it always me? It was an episode. Things happened.
I mean, I liked it, but there's got to be people out there like you that aren't quite so
Look,
happy
I
with
don't
it.
like to be negative, and I don't like to not like things, but I didn't like this.
No. So
Too many-
overall
too
thoughts.
many plot holes
That's my
for you?
overall thoughts. Yeah, too many
as long as you give an
plot holes.
explanation- Yeah, too many. Okay, fair.
Yeah, just yeah.
Because you were a huge fan the entire first season. So
I really liked the first season.
Yeah.
I think it was very, very well executed. The concepts that they were dealing with were grounded in some real world science, and also were very consistent throughout the season in the way that they were portrayed and the way things were explained. And granted, it's still fairly early in this season, but every episode there's been like a okay kind of a moment, and I'm just I'm holding on.
Yeah. Hopefully there'll be a huge episode of explanation that will bring you
Big
back to the
eye
table.
opener, like, oh, yes, it all makes sense now. It was a dream.
Oh, that's the worst cop-outs when they do that. But I like hearing the plot holes because when we were talking about, like, they don't bother me as much, but they're good questions to think about.
Yeah.
But that's like the two ways you can approach it. Is either it makes you go, when you notice those, wait a minute, hold on things,
Yeah.
either you're just going to sit there and go, I hope I get an explanation, or we were just like, this is fine.
Yeah, I think for me, I I trust the show enough to give me the explanation.
It's still early.
Yeah.
I will critique it more harshly at the end if they don't say, hey.
Or by episode 5, if things are still
least halfway,
murky,
yeah,
you're
you're
like,
like,
I just think for this type of show, that's what I would expect of a first season. And in a second season, I feel like I should have a better idea of what's going on in terms of like the broader strokes of the show. And I think that's for me is where the disconnect is.
Yeah, well, we'll dig into it a little bit deeper with these topics. Our first topic is Trepp's Quest. So we got a little bit more information about Trepp, and now she's on a particular mission, but it still seems to kind of overlap maybe with this whole Quellist agenda. So what did you guys think of what did you guys think of Trepp's finding out about her brother?
Called it was her brother.
Yeah.
No. I think it's interesting. I want to know more that either does she not know what he was involved with, as she was told, like, oh, you don't really know him, or is there something more going on that would make, like, what happened to him to make him so different than what she would expect?
Yeah, because none of what's happened, she doesn't believe he'd take the job, doesn't believe he'd be a Quellist, so like none of it's making sense
So
right
there
now.
must be something that changed him, that ignited that change, or was forced to.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Or it's not him and someone else didn't sleep.
That too?
And we got to go
That's
back
always
to the
an
beginning.
option.
Yeah, there's a possibility with
Always,
everybody in
yes.
the show, yeah. I mean, especially also when her lover, friend, lady said, he's gone missing and come back before. He's done it up several times,
Yeah.
so that all of those sound like prime opportunities to be kidnapped and sleeve swapped.
Yeah. But do you get the sense that sleeve swapping is not that common, though? I think we've seen it because we're looking at these wealthy individuals in this society, but I feel like for the rest of society, they can expect that if it's you, it's you.
I think that's
Generally,
probably
yeah.
a good, yeah.
Yeah.
It just gets blurry when you're dealing with, rebels and people that are actively trying to
Yeah,
sleeve
like the
swap.
underground. Yeah.
Those are the few times of where
Bounty
the
hunter
average
people.
person might
Yeah.
not be who they.
Yeah, and we got to guess the question as to why.
Or
Yeah,
did he change his sleeve for his own protection?
that's true as well.
Like, does he know he was in danger and then try to change?
And then that had someone else. And we know there's a fabricator machine.
Yeah.
We know that there's also a fabricator
Which I feel is
whereby
only located, I feel it's only used there at the circle.
Yeah, and then is it for how long? But we got to talk about that. So Trepp's quest, at least, we got a few more answers, but not all the way there. But we also get some, on the AI front, we get some more information that maybe Poe isn't alone in this as an AI. I personally was like, oh, Poe's got friends or potential friends. What do you think about this new AI world? And was that one of those plot points for you that was like, wait a minute?
I mean, anytime you tell me that there's not a lot of something and that these are the only ones, and then next season you're like, by the way, there's also these other ones too, and they just kind of are sitting around doing nothing. I don't know. I'm just like,
I don't know. They explained these ones as like weirdly specific researchers and
the
such.
retirement
And they're
home.
retired. So I'm like, yeah, maybe people did forget about them of the regular population of AI. No, but I like that there was one that was different, and I mean, yes, it makes it more humanoid that it got bored. There's friendship and wanted to help out, but in a way too of like, if you're this super intelligent thing and you have no purpose, the possibility of a purpose is possibly very alluring.
Yeah, and there was almost even hints of love, right?
There's a
Between
little bit
Dig
of
and Poe. But these aren't people. What do you make of that, Nate? Though? Like, are these AIs
Maybe
exhibiting?
not love, it's a connection, and like,
But what is
I
that?
don't think she likes anybody in that room. Like, she doesn't care about them. So
Yeah.
to have someone, also it's the new and different for both of them.
Yeah.
So you're excited by something new and different.
But what does that mean for the AI? Like you're very divorced from the AI having any sort of personhood or any sort of connection to, being a thing that needs to be preserved. Did that help you along at all, or you're just
again, just with the things that this show has previously established, the one thing that they talked about the AIs in the first season is that they had a general distaste for humanity, and that's part of the reason why they were kind of shunned away. They in general believe that they're better and that humans need to just kind of go away because they're inefficient. So I don't know. This just based on that, it just shoehorned is the word that keeps coming to my mind, and the relationship between Poe and Takashi feels shoehorned to me. Just like now, of course, it's an attractive blonde AI program.
Ponies love. Not for you.
Well, I think for her too, maybe it's not necessarily she wants to help the humans, but she wants to help this AI.
I told you guys.
And have
I
the
think
purpose.
it's the moment when she sees his the flicker that she's like, oh no.
When
okay, I want to stay.
they accidentally touched hands, I swear to you, if I was at home, I would have turned my TV off.
You're like,
I'd be like, that's it.
That's
I'm
a
out.
moment for
I'm
you.
out. Yeah,
That's very
I rolled my
humanoid.
eyes so hard that I thought they were gonna get stuck in my head, and I had to get them to come back out.
I like the moment, but I was like, what is this? What's
Such a
happening?
humanoid thing
I
of
want
touch.
him to be happy.
Yeah.
I like Poe, but come on.
You want it to be
I think
believable.
it would have been a sparring of wits that would have been a more like on an intelligence level that they connect. But okay, it's for our visual medium
Yeah.
intake.
Yeah, of
okay.
course, yes.
And then there was a sad, and for me this is the first time I related like Poe's disability to like Alzheimer's, and that was sad just watching him try to reach for the memories. And so I mean they really are humanizing Poe as much as possible. But we'll see where that leads to.
I think-
Not for Nate.
I was like, I think she's going to help him in the long run.
Yeah, well, obviously.
Yeah.
But I wonder if he'll get that reboot. Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that in predictions. But of course, we are all here for the circle. That's what this episode was about from, from
'Cause
beginning
it's
to the end. I'm guessing it's round. So yeah, we start off with the extraction process, which I enjoyed, that first whole scene. What is he on a unicorn?
Yes, that was so funny.
What did you guys think about the extraction process and him having to face off with the biggest demons in his life? Or biggest love/demons, yeah.
I think it was well done, and it brought up our point we were talking about. Like, well, wait, if he's so good mentally, how would this even bother him?
Yeah.
And they have to do the super level of it and almost kill him to get to that point. So it's like, okay, all right. So they address that aspect, and I like it's humorous at first, like, haha, you don't know who you're messing with. And then the faces, and then the realization, like, oh, who you are. I do think then that brings in his backstory too of Jaeger, so that was interesting. And then having to face him, but I like that pretty quickly Kovacs realizes like, wait, you're not them, because if that went on longer it would be like, come on, you're smarter than that.
Yeah, and he's gonna die, right?
Because he's supposed to be like so special.
But to Nate's point, one thing I was bothered by was they really glossed over the fact that it's supposed to kill him and then he just lived. Like, can someone explain how he survived that last DHF pull? Because the guy whispers, "Oh, he's dead. Like, this is it."
It's like you could kill him.
and he just, he survived.
He's just mentally that
Because
strong.
he's the last envoy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I
That's
mean-
It's an
why.
easy blanket.
I hope they don't dig into that too much. I mean, they already kind of have used that one. I was like, wait, no one explained that how he
Why?
survived.
Why didn't they immediately pull his stack out once they captured him after
Fair.
Colonel who was actually Jaeger, was so concerned about getting the wedge
But to that,
design
I want
tech
to say
back.
he wanted the tech mostly to stay on world and keep involved.
Well,
But
yeah.
yes,
But
once they
even-
got it,
Yeah.
why not take it out and
You
not
know
worry
that
about
he's
it.
super dangerous, and
Yeah.
the body is super dangerous.
But I mean, not to you though, because he can't even touch. He can't touch the alpha, right? So at the very least, he's not really dangerous to
Right.
you or your pack.
So we better send in everybody that's not
that's a
in
reason
the
to
pack
keep him in. Come on.
to surround him with guns,
But
and then they all miss.
But I do-
when they have their targets trained right in the center.
It's stormtroopers.
well, I do believe.
Yeah, it is stormtroopers.
Well, I would say
they
I do.
can't hit anything.
I believe they were hemmed up by the PR move. I don't know why they didn't remove the stack
Yeah.
initially, but at the point that she had told the world we got Kovacs and we're going to have the circle, then PR-wise they had to keep him in that body.
And I even if we're going with that, I can't agree with that, because in a world where you can put stacks in other sleeves and you can freeform manufactured synth bodies that
True.
can, like, you just put it in like a 3D
Very
printer and
quickly.
it takes only a few minutes. Put him in a new body. People are going to understand. Oh, this is Kovacs. He killed a bunch of people in this illegal military sleeve. So now he's going to die in the circle.
And they could have
now
put, and they could have put him in a replication of that military sleeve without the upgrades too, right?
Because it's the
Yeah,
actor, as
and
you
honestly,
said.
if I was writing the show, I would have done that at least. But like,
But he did get the drug that kind of made the reality not, made it. He's hallucinating for the
Yep.
most part. But then they also add in a fabricator to make that hallucination even more.
Which is a really cool form of torture, but
yeah, conceptually,
interesting.
the
Yeah.
whole idea is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It felt kind of corny.
Do we think
to
the
me.
fabricator lasts?
I think it's temporary
it's
because
a temporary fabric.
I feel because when one of the soldiers goes in, she says this is so illegal.
Yeah.
So I feel it's.
I think she
No,
was
no.
referring to being
The Kel,
Kelcrest.
because you're not allowed to
okay.
use that figure.
Yes, that makes sense. Okay. Then I still go. It would be temporary because otherwise those soldiers I think would. That's why it would be so nonchalant. Be like, okay, yeah, sure, just change the body real quick. I'll be back in my other one in a little bit. Also, the blue blood, like maybe it is something like it decomposes very quickly after an
Yeah.
hour or a day.
Because I don't know, because the soldier's still going to get the upgrade. So he may not even be, it might be a permanent thing, but they don't care about it because they assume they'll get the upgrade
Yeah.
if they beat. I have
Yeah,
questions about
I
the
don't
fabricator.
think. I mean, I would assume that even those sleeves that we saw them in originally, those are not their original bodies.
Yeah.
Right.
That too,
so
probably.
Yeah.
my assumption is that they go into the fabricator, it takes their stack out and puts it into this quick thing. synth
Organic thing, okay.
Do you think it lasts long or
So
temporary?
it is their body.
I
if they
mean, I
can-
would assume it's temporary. Otherwise, why wouldn't all of the bodies be synth
yeah.
made?
Yeah.
So that's another reason to keep it.
But also, it was durable enough to fight for as long as it did. So
Yeah.
if it's not like
Full
paper
strength for an
mache.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but hopefully we'll get some answers to that. But we have the moment when Kel walks in. Of course, I was like, "Is that the?"
I was always
yeah.
her.
Yeah, y'all knew. But
I
was
knew
like,
it. I'm like, the
I mean,
body's
as-
going to be in the other room.
I said it as soon as the fourth lady walked in and she was running late. I was like, "Oh, she's gonna turn into Kel, but then it's gonna be real
Yep.
Kel,
Yeah.
and the old Kel's gonna be dead."
See, I expected for there to be a Kel versus Kel face-off, and Kovacs having to pick which is the real
no,
Kel.
see, that would have
right?
been corny. Oh,
Well,
no.
we had some corny
that,
moments.
that,
though.
that would have been corny.
Yes.
The thing-
That would have been corny. Gotcha.
Cliche.
Okay.
Cliche we've seen too often? Cliche.
We've seen some
Maybe.
cliches.
What's cliche is that it just so happens that 3 of the 4 people he's in love with were characters from the first season, even though he's had, I don't know, 300 years of living and people.
But maybe
will
he
love
didn't
him
love
about-
anybody
And he
else
doesn't
after.
get it. And he doesn't. And remember, we're watching the moment when, right? The whole point of TV is to watch that moment when you would remember.
And
when
he
you
could have loved other people, but just didn't make that much of an impression.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Yes, we're fighting. We're fighting here.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, I like that it was really her right away,
Yeah.
and I'm glad. Like another cliche moment would have been is if he attacked her too,
Yeah.
thinking like, oh, she's just a copy as well.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, please don't.
But
do
they
that.
know each other. They know each
Yeah.
other. But
They
even
know.
Were you expecting to see Poe as one of the faces on his?
no,
I
obviously
I
not.
said it was a
right?
one-sided romance. It's very heavily weighted on the one side.
One thing we also got was the power of the people, though. You know,
Yes.
So we got 2 AIs working on this. They can't do anything. There's a firewall. They can't make it work. But we see the inspiration that Quel has, and we got this. You know, she got the lady. She goes, "Let's do it."
Our tech girl for the win.
Yeah. Did anyone see that coming?
That she would do it. No, I like that. That was kind of a surprise. Of like, you just think this character's
Yeah.
whatever. But they were showing her a lot that you go, wait, why are we gonna
Yeah,
see
she
her?
seemed the moment when she was like, "Oh," when she saw Quel, she was like, "Wow."
And some of the wolf
yeah.
pack got some lines finally. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. That was a surprise, but not shocked.
Yeah, but I'm hoping that the power of the people and
Yes.
that plays a role, you know, because they feel very powerless and they have no one on their side. But if people are on your side to help you, even when you're not looking for it, then it really changes the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. And I'm hoping we get more again. Still, I feel like they keep kind of alluding to this other issue, but they haven't really delved into it at all. I think obviously Trepp's story is going to kind of pan into that as well.
Yeah.
But it was cool to see it actually, like how far that rebelliousness kind of permeates all the way up to the people that are working the circle thing. Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah. And of course, we got more. I guess Quel is having some memory problems, and I guess we're gonna tie into the It's got to be we're gonna tie into that drug that they were, we saw episode 2, that strips the memory away.
Yeah,
it's got to be right.
Yeah, which goes back to what we were thinking, that like it is her, but it's not. And I think it took a lot of her memories, because she goes, oh, I don't even know, is that my name?
Yeah.
But she still knows who he is. So it's one of those, like, how much has been taken, and
can
how
she
much
get
has
it
been
back?
taken from her, and can she get it back? And can you fill in the blanks and go, okay, cool.
So she may have to find her own mission of finding her like memory drug bubble that people have just been using, and then grab that back somehow.
Or if she never gets it back.
Yeah. Thoughts
Sure.
thoughts on Quel's amnesia?
I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm very.
But did you find it believable? You weren't, or by that point you're like, I'll
It's
take whatever
just
you give me.
Pretty much, yeah. Like she remembers him, then she doesn't remember him. She's like, I'm not here for you. So like, if she doesn't remember who she is, and she doesn't know who he is because she recognizes later, even though she doesn't remember who she is, then why didn't she kill him originally?
Because do you remember? I think
She killed everybody else there.
But remember, episode 1, she comes to him in that little apparition and says, like, our lives have memory, or our bodies have memory.
But she's not coming to him. That's
that was
his mind. It's just like when he sees Raylene.
Yeah, but also the writers explain to us why she might have a drive for him, right? That's how I took it. You're like,
Yeah,
what?
no, I mean, sure.
That the body
she doesn't
somehow-
remember, but yeah, sure.
Or the memory comes and goes, because that could be an easy.
I'm just not trying to theorize it. I'm just gonna
We'll
let
find out
them
more, I
tell
think,
me.
next.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not, because I don't. The pieces are too in the puzzle of figuring out what it is. The pieces are not matching from how I'm looking at it. So I'm just
Yeah.
gonna wait till they assemble a puzzle, and then I'll be like, okay,
Okay, this works.
there we go.
Well, of course, we have our special segment, our Badass of the Week segment.
Real quick before we do that, I want to talk about the Jaeger reveal, because I actually thought that was kind of cool. I wasn't expecting him to be another character. That was a nice, reference to the first season when he told him, like, how would your face look? Would I cut your nose off?
I
And
didn't like that. I was in the Nate boat. I thought we were gonna be on the same team on that one. I thought it was just too. This guy is the same guy that did this, and he's still alive, and he only spun up for war, so that's why he's still around. I thought that was too convenient.
Fates are intertwined.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's where you draw the line.
That's where I thought it was like, come on now, because they had to explain it all the way. Oh, but how how have you lived this long? And then he had to explain it. It just seemed too much. But that was I was shocked that you're fine with that.
I mean,
I'm
that
shocked
is
now.
more in line of like the ethos from the first season of what we've seen. To me, that makes sense, especially given the importance of Harlan's world.
Yeah.
It makes sense for the Protectorate to if you have these super soldiers, these military geniuses and stuff, you're not gonna just let them die or retire, you know.
But I get they didn't look at the whole fact that now they're incentivized to keep war going because if there's peace, then
Yeah, but
they
I
get
don't-
spun down.
I don't think the Protector really cares about
Yeah.
whether war is ongoing or not, because I think even like when you have an organization, whatever you want to call it, that spans that many planets and time and stuff, like there's always some type of conflict, maybe not like all out war, but there's something for them to use.
But it would seem that they must have moments of peace because he said they only use me for war. So like, it looks like they brought him out and they put him back down. So they do want some level of peace. They don't want to, these guys out there all the time. But now they have soldiers who are incentivized to not make peace because then, assuming they want to continue living in that current
Well,
state.
I'm assuming it's a very small portion of them that are treated that way.
Yeah.
But also, I would assume that the Protectorate, like every power, is making money off of war. I'm sure that they're building sleeves and weapons and all that kind of.
Because Carrera / Jaeger doesn't seem to want to leave Harlan's role, but it seems because he doesn't want there to be a peace, right?
Yeah,
No,
I
because
mean,
then he'd go back to sleep.
But is that his
essentially.
only motivation? Because I mean, that seems to me now the motivation. Because I wasn't sure why he was really upset about this peace brokerage.
but I think it's like I think that's definitely part of it with what we learned from him this time. But I think also just like what he was saying about the gates in Constantinople and stuff. I think he is just really gung ho patriot protectorate.
Yeah.
So I think something
That
about
is
Harlan's
his
world
purpose.
being
Yeah.
independent. It rubs him the wrong way, so he just wants to do what the Protector wants of controlling everything.
Well, perhaps I thought it was too convenient. But, let's do our badass of the week. Do you have a badass of the week, Nate?
I do. I'm gonna go with Keanu Reeves in The Matrix as Neo.
That's an interesting matchup. Yeah.
Super badass.
Also, someone who essentially their mind power is just as strong and formidable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Within The Matrix.
Handy with a katana, and we see
Yeah.
that
Right.
fells him
Well,
in this
'cause he-
episode.
Yeah, because he can think outside the box and
Outside
go
the
beyond the
circle.
limits of his body.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's got a computer skills.
Yeah. I wonder how much like inspiration they drew from the Matrix. There are some like similarities between Neo.
I'm
Yeah.
sure that there's, it's hard to do sci-fi augmented reality without
Drawing from
Thinking
being
of it, yeah.
inspired from the Matrix, especially that first movie. It was very ahead of its time
And
conceptually.
we get another soon. But yeah.
More on a physical level, and I hadn't thought about it so hard, but it came up right to I bubbled up. I'm like, well, Tomb Raider could be an interesting matchup, though I think she would probably
Yeah.
keep him at a distance and use weapons first.
Yep.
Though she can do hand-to-hand fighting, but very resourceful as well.
Laura Croft.
Yeah, Lord, that
Like
would be
OG Angelina Jolie Laura Croft,
Yes.
or like
Well,
new
maybe a hybrid.
16-year-old.
Oh yeah, well,
I'm gonna go with OG.
Yeah.
OG Laura
OG,
Croft. Does
yeah.
she? So she wins the battle. Does she take him down?
I think it'd be a. You're shaking your head. No. I think at the end though he might be too good if he got past like any weapons range kind of fighting.
And we definitely want to hear what you guys think of the comments. I love these matchups. They're starting to get interesting.
What you got, Shaka?
This one's not
yeah.
as interesting. I should have picked. I've been watching Amazon's. What is it? The Boys.
Oh yeah,
So,
okay.
I mean, I'm picking Homelander, but that's almost too easy.
You should have picked the other guy.
With the knives, Blackout.
No. The
one?
regular dude. The
Oh, Huey.
Yeah.
Well, Huey. Yeah, we pick Huey. No, I'm gonna go with Homelander because I want the definitive win. I think and I haven't seen.
man,
I
yeah.
haven't seen the end of it, so I don't know if he's got some weakness I don't know about yet. But yeah, Homelander versus Kovacs.
would just
Yeah, Homelander
rip him
takes
in
it.
half.
Yeah.
It's got the eyes. The eyes have it.
Okay, well I was kind of looking up. So Matrix came out in 1999, and then the Altered Carbon book came out a couple years later. So the question is, how much research and thought did the author have prepping it before
I mean,
Matrix? And vice versa. Like how much
I don't think
timing?
it's heavily influenced
Yeah,
by
it's not-
Matrix.
No, but
I just think that
one of the
it's hard to
2002.
Yeah, it's hard to not conceptually draw from it. Just a smidge.
Yeah, especially when you're in this world of unlimited life and it's sort of like an alternate idea. But yeah, so it's our best of the week. But now we got to go to our predictions. Do we have that? Oh, okay. Do we have that last episode?
We did.
Might not have.
I don't think I remember that.
It was a shorter one.
Miss Dig is gonna help Poe with the reboot. I think maybe she can have the information saved that he wants to keep.
Nice.
I think Kel's memory has been wiped. I don't think it's gonna come back fully. I think she's gonna have to essentially become a new person. And Kovacs is gonna have to help that along and have to figure out how to be with this person who's not who he was. It's new.
And a question on my mind, does Danica and Carrera, do they make a love match?
Yes.
No. Especially now knowing that he's Jaeger.
Yeah. No, not anymore.
Yeah.
No.
But.
You don't know where to go now this season.
I predict that there will be another time where Kovacs should get shot, but he doesn't. That's my prediction.
Well, I want to go with the same prediction for you. I'll co-sign the AI reboot that she'll help him kind of reboot and maintain his sense of self. I think that the brother Anil has something to do with Quellist being respawn.
I think so too, yeah.
Or being around right now.
But what prompted it? I wonder.
Well, and maybe
or did she not know him, or what changed him?
And remember, it's possible someone came across her stack in the soul market and was like, "Oh, okay," which seems, I guess, probably more likely at this point because she's got no memory. So yeah, that is my prediction. Someone came across her stack in the soul market. It was probably Anil, and he spun her up somehow, and he's disappeared, and it's all related to this whole deal. Yeah, so we'll find out shortly.
Hopefully, some type of answers.
Guys, thank you again for joining us. I'm your host, Shaka Smith. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at Shaka Strong. Where can they find you, Nate?
Guys, you can find me everywhere at Dog Like Nate.
And you can find me online at Kari D Lane. That's Karidlane.
And we'll see you guys next episode.
See ya.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.